I want you to think about your environmental literacy or other environmental courses that you're taking. Are you hearing people and professors promoting life-saving sustainable technology? Whose voices are centered in class and through your assigned reading materials? For most of us, white environmentalism has been taught as the foundation of our environmental education. We want to challenge that. Intersectionality, coined by Kimberly Crenshaw, refers to the interconnectedness of social categorizations such as race, class, and gender, which create overlapping and interdependent systems of discrimination or marginalization. You may feel that the environmentalism we're taught is the only type that exists, but today we're challenging that.
Intersectional environmentalism is an inclusive version of environmentalism that advocates for both the protection of people and the planet. It identifies the ways in which injustices happening to marginalized communities and the earth are interconnected.
In the practice of amplifying the voices and stories of students of color, we interview 3 leaders who are challenging our assumptions about who can be an environmentalist and how.
My name is Catherine Morris. A lot of people know me as Cat. And I am the founder of UConn Collaborative Organizing, the goal of which is to increase solidarity and, most importantly, intersectionality in the organizing spaces at UConn as they relate to social and environmental justice. Why? I'm a queer Black woman who has moved about 12 times in my life, so I've seen how my access to different things changes where I am. And part of that includes my access to unpolluted air and unpolluted water and food security. Of course, in addition to my quality of education and just the opportunity gaps. My experiences of environmental racism are why I'm very much an activist for environmental justice, because there should be no reason why we're experiencing the earth differently and in a way that is harming our physical life or quality of life.
De Luizino Chao Benawapskiawi, Kachiwilini Kachiniwes Nagunsis. My name is Sage Phillips. I'm a member of the Penobscot Nation. Our homelands are what we currently refer to as the state of Maine. I'm a junior here at UConn, double majoring in poli-sci and human rights with a minor in Native and Indigenous Studies. My identity connects to the environment in so many ways. I see the environment as my relative and everything within the environment as relatives as well, whether it be the water we drink, the air we breathe, the soil we walk on, the animals we see. I view those as my relatives and my ancestors, and they hold such sacred meaning in my culture and my community, and just so much sacred meaning there to look out the window. And for me, that's like seeing my ancestors and being able to be here with them, not in the physical world, but the environmental world. I would like to think of it that way.
My name is Dan Alejandro Sorio. I'm a senior doing a double degree in molecular and cellular biology and marine science, and I will start my PhD next fall. The global coordinator for the North American region for one of the United Nations working group. I'm also the Colombian coordinator for the conference of IAUT this year. I was born in Colombia, in Tumaco, is an indigenous community in the Pacific coast of Colombia. How my identity works with the environment. So when we grow up, we don't distance ourselves from the environment. So we don't consider the environment. So I love the ocean. I grew up next to the ocean. It's always gonna be part of my life. It's part of who I am. So I never saw something oh no, this is detached from me. For people, that's a really abstract concept. But it's just how I grew up.
My indigenous self, my Penobscot self, I think sustainability is all about those who are here with us now and those who will come after us. And I think it's a matter of protecting resources and protecting a better future, or even just simply a future for, the next 7 generations. My ancestors worked for the next 7, and now it's our turn to work for them. I think sustainability all comes down to protecting, as a bearer of future, myself and my community and within my people, I think sustainability is all about how we move forward and ensure that, there's a good future for those to come.
Intersectionality and health equity are the pillars of environmentalism for me. That's what environmentalism is for me. That's what sustainability is for me. That's what justice is for me. That I feel like that's lost, not only because environmentalism is whitewashed a lot of the time or has been historically and is only now starting to leave that because the climate crisis is a global issue, but also it looks like immigrant rights, because I'm in the mindset that we need to be very aware of and in preparation for climate migration, because climate refugees are a thing and it will continue to be a thing. Like, do people even wonder where all the people in California whose houses burned down this summer went? They went somewhere. They migrated somewhere, and that's just one very localized example of it. Something like 11,000 refugees from Puerto Rico came to America after Maria. That is a climate migrant. People in Africa that are surrounding Lake Chad, which is went from like this to like this because of the temperature rise, right? The global temperature rise. They have to go somewhere else because now they need water. Like, we can't ignore these aspects of environmentalism, because then we're not doing it for the right reason, rather than, hey, this is what we as people on this shared earth need.
I'm a huge believer in accountability and optimism, and I think the two have to go together as we move forward. And I think for me, the future of the environmental movement is our youth, and I think we have to listen to our Black and brown communities, especially. The earth is our relative, and that's how we treat it. So hopefully we can get everyone else on board and treat it the same. I guess I can speak to Native youth, especially. Just the earth is our mother. I mean, at its very core, that's what we're looking at here. And I just want them to know that our ancestors were able to protect her. So now it's our turn, and I think we're more than capable to do that. Just knowing that we have to use our ancestors' strength and resilience within us to move forward and carry on as they once did.
What is my why? I really don't see any other option. I feel like once you make these connections, it's impossible to unmake them, in your mind and heart. And I've lived the connections, and I've made the connections, and I can't unsee them. And I really am not a hypocrite. I can't tell people to do something and not do it. So that's really why I keep doing this. I don't have anyone else to take care of me. And unfortunately, people with my intersecting identities, we never have. And so for those reasons, I can't wait for a savior. I have to be that for myself. There's no other time to wait and see what's going to happen. We can't wait for someone else to do this work. We need to do it, period.
I think identity is only something you don't discuss in Colombia. You can see there's different people mestizos, mulattoes, we see our skin tone, but there's also discrimination. There will always be. But we don't discuss oh no, because you are you have this identity, you have to fit out certain roles, right? You grow up in indigenous communities, so you should know about the environment. I mean, yeah, I do, but that doesn't mean I should be telling you what to do regarding to the environment. Something where I come here, when people tell what you are, it's I'm a person. That's about it.
Climate change and other environmental issues is the biggest issue of our time because it tears people and families and communities apart. And I was raised to be taught to bring people together. Working on environmental issues is a really important way of doing that.
My why I'm involved in environmentalism is for my family. My family's from Nicaragua and they live in Puerto Rico. And in 2017, Hurricane Maria struck the island, and it was a very difficult waiting game, waiting to get responses from them after Maria hit and they regained connection. And that was the first moment in which I truly realized the extent of environmental injustices, especially in the Caribbean and in Latin America. And since then, all the work that I've tried to do and trying to be an activist and an advocate for environmental justice has always been about my family and pouring radical love into my community and always showing up for the people that I love, that I know or that I don't know. I encourage you that whatever you're doing and whatever activism you choose to pursue, always root it in love and wanting to do better for the people that you care about.
My why is for all of the people who've come before me and who've paved the way for those who are changing the world. I do this to thank them and continue the work that they've done. My call to action is to stay hopeful, because hope is sometimes the only thing we have, and hope pushes us forward.
I think that intersectionality is really important in environmentalism, because between human interactions with each other and with nature, we can learn a lot about society. And I think that through preserving these relationships in everyday life, will preserve the world for future generations.
Mi porqué es mi familia, mi porqué es mi isla. Vengo de Puerto Rico, la colonia más vieja de los Estados Unidos, y la realidad del caso es que nosotros hemos experienciado desastres a causa del cambio climático de una manera bien directa, y la realidad es que ha sido bien difícil, no hemos tenido las ayudas que realmente pues necesitábamos en el momento que las necesitábamos. Y mi llamado a las personas es que practiquemos amor, que practiquemos resiliencia, que practiquemos entendimiento y compasión hacia los demás, porque a veces nos encontramos en situaciones más privilegiadas que otras personas y se nos hace un poco difícil entender que estamos en esa situación privilegiada, y solamente invito a todas las personas a reflexionar para que todos podamos hacer un cambio y vibrar en nuestras conciencias más altas.
Something must be done, and it must be done intersectionally. Because if we are to do this in a way that harms people or makes it not sustainable for others, then we're simply inflating our own egos.